Good morning, everyone. So great to see you again. It's Tuesday, I think. Okay, so first, I have to tell you how excited I am. Remember I told you about the paper cutter that was in one of my boxes that I haven't been able to find, even though I've gone through them a bunch of times? I found my paper cutter. I'm so happy. This is what this paper cutter does that my other one won't do. So I can measure something and cut it to exactly the right length. So this is great if I'm cutting backgrounds for the postcards. I can make them exactly 4 inches by 6 inches. So I'm so thrilled that I found this, especially since I'm shipping all my boxes to Virginia to get them out of my way. And then half of my stuff will be moved. So, and it'll be safe. So I'm very excited. I don't have to live in clutter anymore. I found my paper cutter and yay. Okay, so let's start with the, oh, look at that. I have to be careful with these little pieces. Start with the Gaza. I'm just going to call it that, the Gaza one. So it's such a pain to have to cut out these bombs from the paper I printed them on and then trace them and then cut them out again because, you know, there's a little bit lost in the translation, but I'm happy with it. And then I had to take this teeny tiny marker and write Love Israel. And I like the way it looks though. I put it on the black background and I do like the way it looks. So I just have to do 2 more of those. One is smaller than that one and one is bigger than that one. So again, it's just such a pain to have to cut it out, trace it. I mean, theoretically, I could try to put my printed off sheet on top of this sheet that I really want to cut it out of and try to cut through both of them, but I'm worried I could even like staple it or tape it because I'm worried that they would slide against each other and move and then my cutout would be distorted, but maybe I will try later to do both sheets at once. I don't know. I'm nervous about it. But that's where I'm at with that. So I just need to do 2 more of those. And then I need to decide if all my pieces are here. I have to decide if I'm going to use this city piece, which I think might be too big. And if it is too big, am I going to find something different or am I just going to leave that part out? Or am I going to try to, I don't know, draw something? But that one is getting much closer. So I'm super happy about that. So let's move on to something a little more fun. These postcards that I got at Monticello, the Thomas Jefferson homestead in Virginia. I don't know why anyone would want these boring ass cards of the interior of Monticello. Okay, but I bought them because they were cheap and they came in a pack of like 10 or whatever. And I knew I could do something with them. So as I said yesterday, I want to do something to juxtapose this boringness. And what better way to do that than to have a crocodile just randomly coming out of the corner of it. So I cut out my first crocodile and I think it's going to be funny. Again, I try to keep these kind of simple because I have to do a bunch of them. So for the second one, it's, again, who would want a postcard of this big empty room? It's just, I'm sure they thought it was a good idea at the time. I'm sure they're trying to make some money so they can support the upkeep of Monticello. So for this one, I'm going to do, I think, it's hard to show you. There's a flamingo who in the book was a teacher, and then there's this little bird. So I think I'm going to put this flamingo in the corner. And he's talking to this little bird. And then for the rest of them, I'm just going to find more crocodiles and just have them poking up from the corners probably. And then I'll come up with some witty name that has to do with the founding of the country. Oh, and then something about a predator. That feels timely. What else? I think that's about it. I've only been talking for a few minutes. And obviously this doesn't have to be a certain length, but yeah, I'm really, so I just recently bought this pad. I have one. Oh yeah, this is the one I was using. But it's not even 4x6. And since I often am working with 4x6 postcards, I would have to like be cutting something and then move it so that it's still on the mat. And this has been a great mat, but this one is just, it's so nice. This one is actually 6x8. So it's so much more pleasant to be able to cut on and not have to move around. But I am keeping this because I've had it for a while. And this one I got off Etsy. There's a lot of stuff on Etsy. Well, there's so many things people can make now. I don't know if this is actually like manufactured or if somebody did this on there. Well, it says made in Taiwan, so probably not. But there's so many things people can do with 3D printers now. You know, it's kind of amazing. I try to only buy from like artisans and very small operations on Etsy because there is a lot of just stuff that's made by big companies on there too. Because this didn't come from Taiwan, because I'm very on Etsy. The other thing is too, you can find something you really love and it's going to be shipped to you from like Ukraine. And I try to be environmentally friendly, so I try to buy things that are being shipped from the US. So there's not, I mean, and that's even before like the tariffs and stuff. Now you just never know what the tariff is going to be on something. So I do try to order things that will be shipped from the US, and I appreciate that you can check on that before you order. What else? Yeah, these little, I forget where I got these. This is the tiniest point I've ever seen on a pen before. And I did wonder if they would ever come in handy. And they are coming in handy for this tiny little handwriting that I have to do for these. One of the other ones is going to be even smaller. So I have to judge. I don't know if you can even see that. I have to judge when I start writing it how much space I'm going to have. This one I even had to, I made the first L way too big for that, but it all worked out. But on the next one, I'm really going to have to be careful of how big the writing is because it's got to be super tiny. And I mean, that was the original issue. Although I don't know, I don't know why this is so fuzzy. But I mean, I will say, yeah, the bigger one is less fuzzy. So it's just the way it is. Okay, I think that's it for today. I feel like this stuff is going so slow. I think just because I want to get this Gaza one really right. So I'm going to work on cutting out some more crocodiles for these monthly postcards. And I will see you all tomorrow.